Hey, I'm Therapist Britt. I'm a licensed clinical social worker with a private practice in Los Angeles. Let's do 8 pop psychology concepts that are bullshit. Number 1, everyone who you dislike is not a narcissist. Every mean, selfish, self-centered person is not a narcissist. This term gets thrown around so much, it's kind of funny at this point. People may have narcissistic qualities, they might be emotionally immature, but that doesn't mean they fit the definition for clinical, narcissistic personality disorder, which is actually much more complex and rooted actually more usually in a deep insecurity. Number 2, every unpleasant experience you have is not trauma. You can go through some pretty fucked up shit and survive it and have it not be defined or characterized as trauma. You can live through painful experiences and be resilient, and your brain processes and categorizes and files them away appropriately so that they are not stored as trauma. Trauma has a lot more to do with your nervous system, somatic things, meaning how the emotions are stored in your body. It has to do with beliefs that you have about yourself that are replayed and reenacted continuously throughout a lifetime. 3, having needs does not make you codependent. You can be in a relationship and you can have needs and expectations of your partner. You can be impacted by your partner's mood. If your partner feels bad, then maybe you feel a little bad. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're codependent. Codependency, again, it's a lot more maladaptive. There has to be more serious impairments and problems where you are really sacrificing yourself or neglecting or disregarding your own needs in favor of someone else's, where someone else's emotional needs take complete center stage, and the codependent person is just their needs don't matter. They're subjugated to a role of just total dismissal. They cannot feel okay unless their partner is okay. Number 4, disagreement is not gaslighting. Everyone is not gaslighting all the time. Sometimes people are just confused or stupid or wrong. Number 5, conflict is not abuse. Conflict happens all the time. Conflict is a normal part of healthy relationships. Even a relationship with high conflict is not necessarily abusive. Just because you and your partner argue often does not necessarily mean it's abusive. It might mean that the relationship should end. It might mean that the relationship is no good. But it doesn't necessarily have to be characterized as abusive. Number 6, taking offense to something is not being triggered. Every time you are offended by something, you are not triggered by something. I've had patients, I know people that are just triggered. They're triggered by everything, and everything is trauma. These words, when the words are used that often, they are stripped of their actual power and meaning. You can be activated by something, you can take offense to something. If you are triggered by something, that means you are literally going into a fight or flight response. Your nervous system reacts. There's a major shift and change in your physiological symptoms and in your behavior. Number 7, everything does not need to be normalized. Some shit is just fucked up and weird and different. That doesn't mean it's bad. We don't have to pathologize everything and say that's good and that's bad, that's normal and that's abnormal. Number 8, speaking like a social media therapist is not self-awareness. That's just regurgitating and using terminology that you've seen or heard other people use that you may actually not be using correctly. And then you become that person who's triggered by everything, where everything is trauma, everything is gaslighting, everybody's a narcissist. I'm glad overall, as a society or as a culture, there's more conversations about these things and we understand these things more, but not everybody got their master's degree in psychology or social work or family therapy. Not everybody is licensed by the Board of Behavioral Science. Not everybody is an actual therapist in private practice as a career who works with hundreds and hundreds of patients and clients for hours and hours and hours. Watching a couple of really good, informative, educational, informational social media or YouTube videos is great. If it helps you understand yourself better, if it helps you understand your friends, partners, coworkers, family members better, if it adds value to your life, that's great. But be careful. Be careful out there.